Yeah, that's mainly how most kids' stuff actually is.
Adult proof?
So
Yeah.
let's start with
There we
this because this good business over here is
Barely
already
reach.
open. Now while we're here, let me
This
get
is
up
so-
the drive. Do you have much? I mean, Rusty, you were a
Yes.
you trained as a preschool teacher,
Primary teaching.
primary
yeah.
teacher. Sorry, you would have experience when it comes to the arts and the crafts.
I have once. Well, how much do you want me to talk about this?
Please tell me the story that you're wondering whether or not you should tell.
I have once. I had to do a science class, and I think science is really boring in current primary schools because they just like they'll take you outside and be like, and that's the sun.
Yeah, right,
It
that's
makes
bad
it
science.
hot outside. And when
God.
it's gone, not as hot.
This
And
explains
everyone's
a
like,
lot
"Whoa."
about the youth of Australia.
So I was doing a lesson on light. I was like, you know what would be super cool? I used to work with a removalist company. My father-in-law still runs one of the removal companies. So
Very interesting
I,
career.
I went to his work and was like, I want 25 boxes. So I got a bunch of boxes and I made a big tunnel from the door where the kids come in
Yep.
to outside to
Yep.
where the lesson was about light.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
good.
okay,
So like I took them through a dark tunnel.
How old are these kids, by the way?
5.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, this is awesome.
How,
Yeah.
how old, like, as in, I'm going to say how old is 5, but, like, give me another metric other than, like, 5 years old doesn't mean anything to
They
like,
were
what,
year
you know what I
one
mean?
prep.
Year 1, okay,
Yeah. They just
Yeah.
started school.
Yeah, okay,
Really.
okay,
Yeah. They don't know anything.
As an example, one of them couldn't
little
handwrite
stupid
smaller than
human.
a full page.
Yeah.
So like I get him to write between lines and he was writing the letter A this big.
Yeah.
They've
okay.
just
He
they've
just
just
couldn't
come
do it.
off
Yeah,
like
they're little stupid humans.
they're little stupid
I love
kids,
thinking about
basically.
kids as in, like, that they just,
Like
they're
they-
just dumb adults.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
know.
right, yeah.
It's so wholesome.
You're a
Can I
monster.
please have a plate?
Please have a play. Yeah, that's a good. And did they appreciate the box tunnel?
Yeah, they thought it was awesome. They went through a tunnel.
Nowadays, can you imagine the forms you'd need to sign?
Oh yeah, it wasn't
Parents to put kids in a tunnel and funnel them somewhere off campus. The world's just changed. You won't be able to do it anymore. Now, I kind of like went with the idea that that molding clay is a bit like paint.
And it's got
if
a
you
point. I
combine
just
two
saw
colours
that.
and make sort of like a hot pink. So I took the cool pink and I took the red and I have this, and it kind of looks like my little legend has had a very bad bowel movement. So that's kind of where we're sitting at
can
the
I put-
moment.
Can I please see what a Fury Horde looks like?
Sorry,
as
yeah,
well?
please. So there's your Fury
I
Hon.
feel like
He's
my
got a
dude-
white noggin.
He's got an angry little scowl.
Oh, I don't know what the rest of him looks like. That's just the head.
I'll get more. I'll
Oh,
get
no.
more. God, you're
got
Is
little-
he?
little
Well, is he
stompers.
tubular?
He's got little stompers.
he's rotund.
Does he have big feet?
Uh,
No, that's too much.
he's got stumpy legs.
Yeah, little stompers.
Little stumpy
Yeah,
legs.
little
That's
stompers.
much better.
Don't
Okay.
accidentally show me a.
Stop looking.
Whatever
Stop
you have.
looking.
Yeah.
He's
don't wanna
going
see
through a
it.
full list, so
I
just
don't want
stop
to see
looking.
it.
Okay. I'm gonna
I
open
think
this
my
up, a
little
new
guy
tab.
wears like a mask. Like this is his head, and then he's got a little
a
mask
mushroom.
on. Yeah, oh, it is a mushroom. It's like been. It's just burnt.
Get it out.
It's
Okay.
a burnt mushy.
There's your Fury,
Oh, that's much more white than
How
that.
does his?
and then I'm just gonna
Okay,
do
cool.
Feather Knight. Bryce, what was your favorite thing to do art-wise when you were at school? When you were a dumb little kid?
I don't know. I have a funny story, but it's not about me. It's about my brother. He was one of those like. He's gonna hate me for saying. This
take
is really funny.
Here's your brother.
But
you
like,
could say
so
it.
I was a kid. Like, I just jump in the mud, like hell yeah, like finger painting, like splash your hand in, splash it on the paper, and it's like there's your hand. You know what I mean? But he traced his hand with a pen, and then he painted it in with a paintbrush because he didn't want to get his hands dirty in the paint. But I thought that was the coolest shit ever to just paint all over my hand and then stick it on the paper.
And what does he do now?
No, now is policeman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting his
So
hands
he
dirty
was,
all the time.
He was
Yeah.
always in line, and you were someone
Yeah,
had
I was-
slapped the paper.
I mean, well, excuse me, everybody else was slapping the bloody.
and here
the
you are
paper.
rebelling in esports.
I feel like the point that Rusty's trying to make is that one day you will be arrested by your own brother. And it's going to be this
Didn't
weird-
we discover?
Wait,
that
there
you
is
were-
hot pink?
Didn't we
Yeah.
discover that you were going to be arrested
Got some
like
hot pink?
before anybody else?
Oh, was
Good luck
that where
opening
we
that.
landed?
That was where we
I was
landed.
the one that was most
Because
likely to be...
professionally,
Oh,
you're-
that's right.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
professionally dangerous, but like in my day-to-day, I'm just very wholesome and lovely.
Wait, no, that doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Stumpy legs.
'Cause then that means you wouldn't have been. You'd be arrested at work.
I'll be arrested at work. Like, they'll kick
okay,
this
okay.
door down.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll be like, Mr. Richardson,
Okay.
like, you owe us, I don't know, something.
You know,
did something.
arts and crafts are one of the most therapeutic things anyone can ever do.
I don't understand the Feather Knight. I don't understand how to get arms. He's got like a
He has flat penguin arms. That should
Yeah.
be the
Yeah,
easiest thing.
but they're flippers. But I also feel like I need to make a sword. So there's his weird body. He's got a fat little
Oh,
thing.
you're gonna have to make a sword.
I'm gonna sit that there. Wait, your guy has a sword?
No. I just realized your guy has a sword.
Oh, look how good that is already.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like I don't know what he's like. He kind of looks like a worm.
Brown eyes.
Like he's about to put on a helmet and like you know
He
what I mean, go
does.
through a cannon.
He looks like a mushroom.
But I reckon. Well, the thing I've realized is that the hauntlings aren't attached.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that's just a
Oh,
dog, a cat, and
right,
a penguin.
right.
His head is floating.
Oh,
I'm pretty
right.
sure.
Okay. Yeah. So how are you gonna manage
Yeah.
that?
So that's what this like this
Oh, the
this black bit is like
is
negative space.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Look, that's smarter than I gave you credit for. You could
Smarter
use
than
pins.
the average bear.
Yeah.
And make
In
it-
my ear, a producer's just like, I'll give you a paperclip if you want.
There you
So
go.
that'd
So,
be.
Do you
I
want to
don't-
step it up?
How does a paperclip help me out though?
Do you want to make it good
I
or
want
do you want
one,
to make it bad?
please. But how does that? I'll have to get creative.
No, you would like untwirl it
Oh,
and then fold it in on itself, so it's basically just
Oh,
one
God,
line.
that's
and
smart.
then and then you just and then you could float. I realized that I'm actually way beyond the depths of my
Artistic capabilities.
yeah, because I'm looking at what you've got and you've already got like shape and some sort of like
Well, mine's
creative
basically-
direction when it comes to negative space. I'm not even up to dealing with negative space. I'm having
no.
trouble with the space.
Mine's definitely
Like
like
the body.
Yeah.
an elongated snowman.
So here's the beginning of my
I
feather
think I
knight.
need more whites. More,
That looks wonderful.
So
I'm
that's
nicking all of it.
the beginning of the penguin.
You know, it does have the body
It's
shape of a
eyeball.
penguin. I'll give you that.
Thank you very much. He looks like he has been skinned. It's like if you skinned a
Oh,
penguin,
no.
that's what you would get.
Yeah.
no.
Which I don't know if that is keeping with the theme that Riot were going for with the Little Legends, which
He's
is like,
so cute, the little skinless penguin.
yeah,
Come here.
because it is a bit like in the rest of the game there are like zombie skins and like weird beasts of the night, and then the Little Legends are just supposed to be.
I think
adorable.
the legs are a bit big.
That's pretty
little
good.
chillin'.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
I'm
are a
having.
bit big though.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of leg.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's too much. Leg.
Now, does
Those
it
aren't
need
stumpy.
to?
They're,
My
Yeah.
question is, does it need to stand up by itself?
that was my just current realization. I'm having trouble sticking it together.
You can make some sort
think-
of.
Yeah, how do you stick this?
I think I think you need to do it all in one. I
oh,
think that's my
you want to
mistake.
like mold it out
Yeah.
from
Like make a blob and then
Oh
build it.
wow! You want to like
And shape it.
You want to Michelangelo's David it.
Well, because
Like you just want to take your raw material and
This is-
uncover the piece within.
yes, but completely tangential story. I made
Please.
homemade pizza like a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
I had
Tangential.
random dough left. Well, I mean, I'm just hitting doing this because like the hauntling is like a little bit of a snake, just like changed,
Yep.
right? And I just had dough left over. And I was standing there. We were like having a couple of OJs in the kitchen, just standing around.
Yep.
And it got to like midnight, and I'd just been like playing with this piece of dough.
Bit of midnight
And
OJs.
it was just like growing and growing, and then I just folded it into a pretzel
Yep.
and put it in the oven.
Oh wow.
And it was goddamn delicious.
And you-
it had zero flavor because it was just plain dough.
Yeah.
And like I just put it in the oven and it was incredible.
But
And
you
I
put
was
some
like,
By
Like-
that stage, it's not plain dough. It is your sweat
yeah,
That's true.
probably.
that has just been worked into
Yeah.
flour and water, and I
Yeah.
assume a little bit of salt.
What does a good meal need?
It stands.
It
Blood,
stands.
sweat, and tears.
We have progress.
Oh, that is so
Okay.
gross.
Well, speaking of progress, we are heading into game number 2. Game number 2. Game number 2. Game number 2. Direwolves
Mammoth
versus Mammoth.
versus Direwolves.
It's on the
is what I'm trying to
screen.
say. Oh yeah, it is too. Sorry, every time I look at the screen, all I see is me. Direwolves versus Mammoth. We're about to head into Champ Select. Any thoughts? This game? I mean, I'm tipping Mammoth, but I do love me some Direwolves upset.
I mean, I'm sitting here as someone that is with an org hoping that Direwolves lose, but it is a must-win game for them.
Yep.
Because it's a very important one, right? Separation on the ladder, secure the 4th place position. So a very
Yeah.
big game for Direwolves to try and get those wins. Mammoth need to win if they want to keep up with the Chiefs.
And also, like yesterday, almost an incredible win there for Direwolves,
Yes.
getting so close. Kind
So
of like
close.
similar fashion to AV. They've had almost mirrored weekends, right? If this is a Mammoth victory, then you could say basically the same thing. Both going to end up on 8 points. But yeah, as Rusty alluded to, they want to get that separation, get that extra point above, and start taking down the top dogs.
All right, well, the teams are chomping at the bit to get into the action, so let's throw it over to the desk and the Macca's Champ Select.
Thank you. And I'm actually just looking at the games from this weekend, and like they've all been like middle of the pack, like racing for playoffs versus top 3 teams.
Yeah.
Like apart from yesterday with like Legacy Order.
Yeah, apart from Order. Order get to
Yeah.
play Legacy and Gravitas, which is
Gravitas.
obviously middle of the pack versus middle of the pack today. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're exactly right. And I think that that's how it goes until next week, where Direwolves get a crack at Legacy and Gravitas.
Yep.
Otherwise, everyone else, like next week, it's just the exact same thing again. And the reason for that is we just have this 4-team middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And there's only 8 teams in our league, so everyone's just playing everyone.
Exactly. It's just interesting because like there have been 0 like quote unquote upsets this entire weekend. So yeah, now looking towards Direwolves and Mammoth, yet another game where it's middle of the pack team versus top 3. We'll see if they can do it. Yeah, Gravitas, Order, and then Bombers Legacy, and then there should be a Legacy Bombers game. So we'll see if that is the case as we get into Champion Select. Of course, it was not a win yesterday for the Direwolves into the Chiefs. And now playing into Mammoth as well. Vladimir Yumi will start off bans, followed by Gragas here for Mammoth.
Yeah, and this is a really important game for Direwolves to win. As Rusty said, they need to be able to create some form of separation. Otherwise, they're going to remain equal with the Avant Gaming lineup. And then either 1 point ahead of Order and Gravitas, respectively, if Gravitas win the next game.
Yep.
Or Order will move up to join Avant and Direwolves on that 8-point margin, which is just... That's when things get scary. That's when everyone in the league collectively holds their breath for the biggest Super Week, I think, of Oceanic history.
Yeah.
Because Mammoth will still be going toe-to-toe with Chiefs. And I always say this stat, but since we've brought in the Gauntlet, whoever has come first has won the league. Doesn't matter about what form the person has entered the other side of the Gauntlet from.
Yep.
Order went on a tear. They lost 1 game the whole of the Gauntlet, got smacked by Bombers. Chiefs went on a tear. Went like absolutely berserk in 2017, split 2, ran into Direwolves, could not get it done because that week break is just so key to be able to, close out the OPL season. So Mammoth, no, if they want to go to Worlds, statistics say they have to finish first.
Yeah. And there's not many games left to do it, and specifically after Mammoth going with that 0-2 week, that's not what you want, specifically going into direct competitors. So, yeah, all these games count massively for these teams. Rounding out those bans, Lee Sin, Renekton, and Azir Yumi here from the Direwolves with the Corki. We're going to have Rakan Sejuani from Mammoth.
Yeah, really interesting. So they value the Rakan side of the Xayah Rakan lane over the Xayah side.
Yeah, pretty rare.
I think that this is becoming more popular, though, because when Alistar was a kind of Rakan light, right? You could just run Alistar with Xayah, and Xayah Alistar was like a really powerful lane. But now there's lots of things like Gragas, who's banned, but also like Nautilus, and just lots of champions that honestly ruin Alistar's day in Summoner's Rift. Not to mention like Karma, Lux, like all the range supports as well. So Rakan really is better than him. So I like the priority of Rakan because then you have things like Lucian, which has been locked in, Kai'Sa, which is still available, and of course Xayah. So I really do think Rakan at the moment is the higher priority out of those picks, and really good to see that a team like Mammoth kind of echo that sentiment, and they get both anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunately a sad era for the 2 Alistar players on the casting desk currently.
Yep. Alistar sucks right now.
Yeah. Buff his AP ratios. Bring us back to Season 1. Let's go.
He used to have like 2 1.3s. Now he's got nada.
Yeah, back when Suche was playing.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. Direwolves with the Silas and Lucian pick up here. And Mammoth going to lock in the second half of the Lovers duo into the bottom lane with Xayah, and will ban away from Nautilus.
And now this is really interesting, Pulse, because I've heard from select few junglers around the OPL that Sejuani is unplayable with Silas in the game. Because Silas is just better Sejuani.
Better Sejuani, yeah. Steals the ultimate.
However, Babip obviously doesn't hold that opinion and just takes Sejuani with the Silas still available. And Direwolves are a team. If Silas is up and available, Razor's going to take it. Getback's going to take it. Someone's going to take it. Right? Especially when you have a look at Lee Sin and Gragas being banned away from Raze. I assume that's going to be his pickup right now. So I really like Direwolves comp. If there's ever a comp that can run over an early game and still has some late game insurance, it's probably Lucian, Silas, and Corki in first 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's exactly what you want against a team like Mammoth specifically. Braum ban there to round out the bans from Mammoth, and Yasuo towards Mammoth as well. And we'll look towards this final ban. Irelia, solo lane ban.
Yeah, really interesting. Obviously, Topoon in today on the red side. It's going to be... Okay. I was going to say they will probably fish for a melee champion. Aatrox is certainly very strong right now.
EU shout out.
I love Garen so much. Also, it might be a Kuden shout out because Kuden is obviously the manager of Mammoth, and he's also a big Garen player. He actually is, to my knowledge, the only person that has played Garen in the OPL.
Did it win?
No, it did not. Rippy, however, in the same game, was turret diving between turrets on Udyr jungle as he had subbed in for some reason. And Kuden went top lane and someone went support. I can't remember, but it was a very interesting game.
Maybe one to go back and look at.
Oh, GP, Fire
Yeah.
Panther, throwback.
Yeah, a bit of a throwback pick here for Biopanther. It was Aatrox locked in the end there from Mammoth as well. And wow, Alistair, just after our conversation, locked in here from Direwolves.
And we are seeing him come back a little bit, right? I think we saw an Alistar game yesterday as well.
We did.
So, look, I don't think he's terrible, but I just think he's pretty crap. So, we'll see how it goes. Thick Bear? No.
Thick Bear?
Okay.
Keanu Reeves. No. Kai'Sa.
I beg your pardon?
Hang on. Mid lane? No. Top lane? Mid lane.
I mean, Kai'Sa top would make sense to me because it would beat Gangplank because every AD carry in the league beats Gangplank Pulse. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But mid lane, that's interesting. Into Korkos. Okay. You're going to have the AD carry off in the mid lane. I wonder if he goes AP Kai'Sa and maxes W.
I mean, that was my initial thought. Yeah.
The two trolls casting the game. But it's interesting
Wow.
that both now Chiefs and Mammoth have thrown curveballs in games that we see as much win for the top of the table, but they seem a little bit more willing than maybe I would have thought to experiment against these middle of the pack teams.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, there's two ways of thinking, right? It's like gun for first and just be out and out the best, or take this time while you can and actually get these strategies out, maybe change your roster, try Tarpoon into the top lane, try these different compositions. You know, there's a lot of people in the middle of the pack actually trying that right now. You know, that last game was a good reminder of that fact. So, you know, maybe that is the strategy, but yeah.
Because Quiana, or Keanu Reeves, is also very good into Corki. There's a couple of little things in the interactions there that you can buffer into Corki that make him kind of a sitting duck for the newest AD assassin on Summoner's Rift. But I don't actually know how the Kai'Sa into Corki matchup goes. So obviously Triple does because he picked it, but don't know how much practice you actually get on a matchup like this.
Yeah, it's not the matchup that you see every day necessarily in mid lane. We do have Curtis joining us on the desk. Maybe you can shine some light on the old Corki Kai'Sa classic matchup in the mid lane.
Yeah, g'day guys. It's funny because I actually versed Triple in this matchup this morning in solo queue.
Oh,
Did
really?
you beat him?
I won, but it wasn't really me.
Okay.
But I think, the way I think he's played a lot of it in solo queue. I think I spoke about I think this could be one of his counter picks, but I think the way it works is I think Kai'Sa actually gets pressure 1v1, and I think it just wants to scale alongside it. I think, though, personally, like, it gets to a point where Corki just does Corki things in terms of just outrange.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of threat onto the Kai'Sa. So it'll be interesting. They've obviously played a lot of it, but I'm unsure about what its identity is in mid-game. But yeah, early game, it definitely wins 1v1, I think.
So now, talk to me. You just seen Avant fall down to the Chiefs in a very close match. Yesterday's match of, I think it was Mammoth versus Gravitas. Very close match. You guys obviously looking to pick up a win here. Do you think the top teams are starting to... Because it looked like top three, then kind of next 3 or 4, and then obviously Legacy struggling at the moment. Do you think that the gap is closing again between the top 3 teams and the 4, or do you think that maybe just a couple of hiccup games?
So, I mean, the one way you could read it would be the fact that these top teams, I mean, I would say actually less top 3. I would say top 2 specifically, Chiefs, Mammoth. I feel like in these games, no matter what happens, they just have an extra trump card in the sense of just late game macro. Like, you see it in Chief games, you see it in Mammoth games. Like, we lost to Mammoth at like 40 minutes or something. They're just veteran players who find ways to win games. Like, you can trust Raze in late game team fights to find a way, or whether it's Triple or King in Destiny doing some like weird thing in a team fight to win, or just out mechanic. And I think that's what a lot of the time turns a game from being, they're probably going to lose into, you can never really write them out. And I would watch that game versus Avant. Say that was, for example, even if that was, let's just say, Gravitas versus, even like, say, Order versus Direwolves.
Yep.
Right? The team that got the lead like that, and they got Baron, the Urgot's out of control, the Zillion scaling, I don't see the team who got behind being able to, like, out macro.
Oh no, we keep fighting each other for sure. I've
Yeah.
watched our games.
Yeah. So that's what I think kind of the way it's panning out over these last few weeks. You kind of see the quality in the veterans kind of pull out ahead.
Okay, so now how do you try and instill that into such a young lineup? And how are you guys trying to close that gap, I guess, going into the latter stages of this split?
So Raze, our player, not the Chief Raze.
Yep.
I would say he's probably one of the smartest players that I've ever played with. I mean, coached / played with. Him probably on a similar level to Shern. I would say that in terms of just macro and understanding and just game sense, him.
Exhibit A right now, as we might pause, and he's going to probably kill Topu. No?
Yeah, forces a flash at least.
And I think he has a very big effect on the way the teams use the game. And I think a player like him really has a big effect. And I think heading into playoffs, he's the player for people to watch. It just doesn't matter what pick you get him on. He has such a deep champion pool, and he's always going to find a way to be useful. And like yesterday, I know that you were critical of him, but I feel like any other jungler in that specific game where your bot's not doing well, mid there's no kill threat, top you have to make a play top, he will execute that every time.
Yep.
And I feel like that is such a good quality. I think Raze for him, yeah, like in terms of veteran, macro calling, he's the guy for us.
Yeah, and I think it's also very easy to be critical of Raze because he's always the person that tries to make the game-winning play, right? So he's the person that's under the microscope, I feel like, for Direwolves at the moment, because when the play works, he looks very, very good. And when it doesn't, it is kind of that shock. And I've certainly identified him as one of those players that, this game he cops 2 bans again straight away. Lee Sin, Gragas, no one else is even playing Lee Sin in the league, yet he's still drawing bans of it. So obviously now down on a second rung 80 carry, maybe not the preferred, but certainly already had big impact on the map. Want to talk to you about Raze and Totoro, because Direwolves pretty famously were able to take the OPL by storm in a season where everyone bought in imports and you guys didn't. Now obviously going towards the imports. I asked you this question in I think week 1 or 2 and said what's it like working with them. Now obviously towards the pointy end of the season. How have you found it as a coach?
Well, I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that they both speak relatively good English. I mean, I think...
Was that a scouting preference for you guys?
Yeah, it was definitely when we were talking to a lot of the Korean players. Them being able to talk English was definitely a big positive for us, or for me personally, because I know what it takes to win OPL and the level of conversation you have to get to. You just need that English, and it has to extend more than the game, in my opinion. So that's been a really big thing. And across the board, again, it's just like a lot of the little things just done a bit better. They're just a lot more refined, and I feel a lot more confident in being able to be like, hey, I don't need to be microscopic in their review. I know that they will do their due diligence in their own review and cover a lot of the things that a lot of people wouldn't in Oceania.
First row fight opening up into the bottom lane. Will be Mammoth jumping onto Raze right here. Should be falling. And will be first blood going over to Mammoth and specifically Babip. All right. Cool. Thanks for joining us. A little bit longer interview there, and best of luck in the rest of the game.
Thanks, guys.
Also going to be follow-up here.
Yeah, will be Destiny actually falling. Will be fighting back with a kill. Babip traded, but now Katsuri on top of Babip as well. Gets himself a double kill. And that will be a pretty good start.
That's a massive swing for the Direwolves, right? Curtis kind of jinxing his team whilst being on the desk. As soon as he leaves, they get the big hit back. Because both the kills went over to the jungle, so sure, you've got a very tanky Sejuani, but the 2 kills being on the Lucian, who's already a creep wave up, going to be able to get a tempo reset here as well, is a massive deal. Lucian, one of those lane bulls, especially if he goes back by his, I was going to say, Blade of the Ruined King component. This is when you want to win the lane, not just go into the late game. Essence Reaver scaling, so should certainly be a heavy swing down there in that bottom lane, and you can already see Biopanther's global ulti having a great impact, but that flash burnt at the start of the game put him in a great position to be able to have this. Raze coming in, obviously no flash available, turnaround gank is there, just chain CC for days. Really nicely executed from Babip. I think they should have just tried to get this wave in. However, you can see that it is going to be Destiny once again looking for the play, I believe, off this route, which exactly it is right there. Cannot get the CC down onto Totoro in time, and now in the mid lane.
Yeah, rotation coming out from Totoro, putting pressure onto Triple, and he'll be forced back to tower. Also, Race is finding himself in the mid lane, so bit of that spillover from bottom lane now also affecting mid lane, and this is quite a nice start for the Direwolves.
And I always talk about Jimmy or Tally on my team because he's the Gangplank player that I obviously have most access to. He says if Gangplank can hit a wave and he can buy Sheen on first back, he wins a lot of matchups that you think he doesn't win. Grasp of the Undying, just being able to refresh off creeps and then be able to Q-spam. Prep your barrels in the wave now because of how quickly they stack up, and the fact that Sheen's just such a good item with his kit solves a lot of his mana problems. Means also in a lot of those matchups, if that's the way you're playing it, you're always going to have push, you're always under less pressure because Gangplank obviously eats the first CC, gets a big speed up from a barrel, then walks away with the oranges. Very hard to actually gank if he has the push. Normally it's the opposite. You know, if you have the push, you're prone to being ganked, but because of his kit, he is not. So Bio's just in a great position in this wave right now to be able to do exactly that. And I think that that's really playing on Topoon's mind. And Destiny and King starting to respond in kind, get very aggressive in this bottom lane, looking for these trades.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I look at Gangplank right now, and I kind of look at him as like New Age Pantheon. Same trade pattern, you know, like Q spam onto like enemy, get them a certain point, follow up with barrels, follow up with kill threat, and push them out of lane. And you know, case in point, like we'll stack up our minions and we'll just look for the parlay shot.
And look, Topoon immediately just sees. And now Biopanther's like, look, I can walk this wave into turret if I want. Like, very, very easy. Bottom lane.
Yet another gank. Looks like a replay gank on the bottom lane, to be honest, as Totoro goes in and basically sacrifices himself for his AD carry, though unfortunately Destiny picking up the kill.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked like an Ignite tick over, but it could have been a slap because I also saw that animation go off. And King right now is just cussing out his bottom lane and his jungler, saying, come on, guys, give me the kills. I need to be able to carry this one. Especially Rakan. Like, Rakan does nothing with items anymore. He's going to be a potential another dive up here in the top lane as we're speaking about it. So kind of a very split map right now, Pulse. And certainly not something you're used to seeing with a Gangplank on top lane.
Yeah, absolutely not. But this is definitely a full flip in the opposite direction. A full 3.5 wave advantage. Destiny just showing his face there. Totoro walking back into lane. And King doing his best to farm, but this Lucian 2-0-0 is in the place where King wishes he would be. Has gone back and working his way towards, of course, his Blade of the Ruin King as the first item, and that will be recalls coming in from Mammoth's bottom lane too.
And I really like this start from the Direwolves because even though they are even in gold right now, up slightly 500, if you actually look at the concentration of gold, if we could just swap over quickly, it's going to be Bio with a huge lead, like 1,000 gold. Oh, yeah. 80 carry still 400 gold up, mid completely fine. It's the utility players in Raze and Totoro who are down. And this reminds me of, you know, the game that Order played against Direwolves very early. They went at Totoro and Raze as well. And then Totoro and Raze just showed their class, scaled up into the late games and were still huge threats. This could be a 5v5 teamfight over Herald, though.
Bounce here, opens up with the prison. Dodges out of this one. Raze still alive. Gets the charm onto Totoro. He's opening up a lot of distance. Topoon steps forwards, gets that kill, but now caught out in the middle of the team. Direwolves will sweep that one up. It's a 1-for-2 trade. Didn't quite see who picked up Herald as Babbitt moving towards the top side. Yeah, Babbitt, the collector of the Eye of Herald, and Mammoth get out of there.
Yeah, so that's a good trade for Mammoth because it looked like that was a free Herald for Raze against a priority of Dragon. And you can see that once the buttons were used, and I love button comps, one of my favorite comps to play, but you got Sejuani button, you got Rakan button. You know, you've even got Topoon's button where he becomes a lot harder to take down with the increased healing. Yep. As soon as you use all those, kind of fight's over for Mammoth. You have to take what you got. They only got one kill and a Herald in this. You have to back away. Anyone still left in there, it's like cutting off the limb and just being able to allow the rest of the bodies to survive. So really good disengage there from Mammoth, but still going to credit Direwolves because, again, it's Biopanther picking up a kill. It's another kill going over to this Lucian. Like, all the heavy threat players that need to be ahead in this game are ahead. Now the wraparound gank is here for Totoro.
Totoro looking for it. Headbutt combo onto King. He flashes away. Katsuri still pushing forwards on this one. Does have the defense here from Destiny, and will get out of this one alive. Did have to burn the flash and heal, however. Raze also finding himself in top lane as Destiny was trying to ward. Culling comes across, forces the flash out. They're still going for this one. Totoro looking for this dive. Walks through the tower. Raze gets the damage, doesn't want to follow through with that chain damage. Teleport into top lane here. Triple arrives. And we'll be able to defend this tower, but his bot lane has to get out of there.
Yeah, has himself the Q upgrade, which is so important for Kaiser's wave clear, but that's a really nice gank. Gets 3 summoner spells, and I don't think they used any to actually kick that one off, right? So really nicely done from the Direwolves. Also going to be getting turret plays. They walk into Babbitt's topside jungle right now, so he's not safe. Just across the board, like everything really favoring the Direwolves. Now it's a 1,000 gold lead, only 12 minutes in still, but they're scaling nothing to scoff at with Corki, with Gangplank, and you know, we keep going back to it. Must-win game, second last week. for these teams. A 0-2 weekend would be heartbreaking for the Direwolves. If they can snake one here, it would do so much for their playoff potential.
Yeah, and especially, you know, I spoke about this as coming into the game, like, this would be the only upset. You know, like, no one else has managed to take a game against the top 3, so, like, the amount of value that this game would be for Direwolves is exponentially high because of everybody else's failures over the weekend. So, important game for them. The only thing that Mammoth have for them right now is, of course, that Herald in the back pocket of Babbitt, though. Whether they can actually get a setup here without Direwolves just opening up onto them is another question entirely.
You can see they've gained a lot of control of topside river here, Mammoth. So see whether they can get a Rift Herald charge down for the Kai'Sa. Looks like that's what the goal is. However, Alistar already up here. Teleport's not available.
Ooh, nice dodge on the prison there as Totoro turns the corner. King also moving towards the top lane. Shelly's going to get the charge off, but the wave has already been thinned out courtesy of Get Back and Biopanther's ultimate.
And they'd already rotated everyone fully into that wave. You see Lucian still sitting mid, picking up more farm. About to push this one in, might be able to grab a turret plate. You know, Biopanther just uses his ulti, doesn't join the fray, so still has complete control over this bottom lane minion wave. Like putting on a clinic versus Topoon, to be completely honest. 40 CS up in this matchup. So it's only going to be the minimum out of Shelly, and gold stays exactly where it was.
Yeah, precisely. And, you know, Biopanther, like, when you get a matchup with GP and you're this far ahead, like an 11,000 gold lead passively through the laning phases, kind of absurd, you know, for a GP. You know, you're expecting to go down, but, yeah, with the advent of Grasp of the Undying and this playstyle specifically into a champion like Aatrox, this is a great matchup and a great situation to be in for Direwolves. Get Back, going to find himself under attack from Babbitt and Triple. Flashes out of the way of the flail, so will not get stunned down. He backs away to his tower. This will still be pressure out from Mammoth, and the wave is basically gone. Gonna get a last couple auto attacks on this one's post-plate season, so gonna be able to knock this one over. And first brick will go over to Mammoth. Opposite side, Direwolves will respond with a Dragon of their own.
And I really like that play, and I think this is one of the things that Curtis is talking about. When you have Sejuani and you've used her ulti, that's such a big team fighting tool. So you probably can't go down and fight that dragon. Instead, you know that that's probably where Direwolves are going to be set up, so you reinvest another gank into the top side. Against the flow of play, you're still able to pick up a really important flash there onto Get Back. You grab yourself the turret, which is worth a gold as opposed to dragon, which is just going to be there for the neutral power. Sure, you give up something like a blue buff in the process, but still think that that's a pretty smart move there from Mammoth. They do shorten the gold down to 200 now, and that Kai'Sa's very accelerated.
Yeah, 100%. Surprised it wasn't the APW max, but we'll go for the Gwinsus, also with the Manamune. And will be, a secondary threat right here alongside King. Biopanther finding himself in the top lane once again. Tower down, looking towards the tower as well. Notice he'll essentially have the push versus Topoon. Mid lane, Katsuri. Babbitt looking for this one. Toss out the ultimate, gets the flash.
Babbitt is just collecting flashes around Summoner's Rift.
Yeah.
Normally, when you're a Sejuani and you've ganked a lane, like a Corki lane, and you get the flash, you go back down there, you kill it. Babbitt, he's a different kind of jungler. He's like, you know what? That was your warning. Don't let it happen again. I'm going to go give someone else a warning now in this situation. As Rage goes onto Destiny.
Over the wall, gets the stun down onto Destiny, goes into the stopwatch, toss out yet another ultimate in return there from Silas. The triple comes in, our Captain Rain comes across, but now he's under attack. Slightly out of range of stun though from Rage, so should be able to get back to this tower. And now the Direwolves will sweep the rest of the jungle, but get themselves a kill.
Yeah, and Destiny falling down and investing the stopwatch whilst not being able to make an advantageous fight for his team is something that is just so unfamiliar territory for Mammoth. Destiny is a really good engaged support. Hasn't been able to get it done all that much this game. Already died 3 times. Biopanther sniffs out the game coming topside, so no response play in. Direwolves are putting on the full court press. They are a heavy 1-3-1 team, but you can see their collapse is very, very quick.
Totoro walks up to the brush, wards over the wall. Babbitt was there in wait just in case they wanted to open up onto him. But yeah, we're 17 minutes in and we're in a kind of a similar situation to last game, to be honest. You know, like a strong start for the underdog team here. We'll have this kind of 2v2 in this mid lane. Remember, Lucian still 4-0 right now, so it's a very big AD carry. 2.5 items. King stepping forward with his Essence Reaver, inverse of Lucian's scoreline.
And now it's going to be 2,000 gold and a lot of map control over to the Direwolves. And you have to kind of look at what that credit is to. A lot of it is how far Biopanther can shove the wave by himself. and just completely control the side lane, draw some pressure, and hasn't fallen down to a gank yet. 1-0 and 3. Cannot understate that enough. Then you have a look at the other side lane. Corki, he's just so safe. You know, he's just going to do Corki things, as Curtis pointed out. Mid lane, they haven't been challenging for priority, which is a little bit strange because you would expect the Lucian to get priority at this stage of the game. However, I think it's because of the amount of threat Sejuani has, and Katsuri's just letting the game come to him. Fully split map again as Direwolves move into the top side of the map. Mammoth going to look for another turret. But this is once again just trading of objectives, and Direwolves really comfortable with the pace of the game so far, I think.
For sure, but ultimately into a team like Mammoth right here, also going back to the Anthony interview, you know, like top 3 teams always have a way to win, and Mammoth definitely, I think, like embody that as a team specifically, you know, like always able to just win a fight late into the game, even when by all, you know, rights they shouldn't be able to. I think back to the 2 losses last week, there were a lot of games where they were 10k down, shouldn't have been a fight they could win. Top lane, opening up onto Tarpoon, 2 versus 1. Tower shots are mounting up onto Get Back. Tanks as many as he can for Raze. Last one doesn't finish him off. Tarpoon still trading up against Raze though. This is not really a fight you can win though. And Raze will be able to finish him off. Babip diving mid lane, gets killed by Katsuri.
They lose everywhere. I mean, mid lane they fall down. Triple teleports, can't even pick up Raze. That was such a late teleport as well, Pulse. I think he thought his top laner was going to die much quicker. And Direwolves now with the mid lane siege and teleport advantage, just winning across the map.
And Direwolves now looking towards his outer mid lane tower. King, I mean, he's just, yeah, all he can do is chuck out the double daggers from range, but this is gone. Direwolves crack open the mid lane tower and have all the outer turrets down, also harass down the top lane tower. See how that one opens up. And yeah, Babip actually looking for the dive here in mid lane.
As soon as it hits Totoro, I mean, the play is off. You cannot get in. Really nice headbutt from Totoro there as well. Keeps Destiny out. Teleport from Biopanther. Shepherd's King away from the play-in. It's just dead in its tracks as soon as that headbutt registers. Really nicely played. And Katsuri, I mean, we spoke about him yesterday, I believe, in the game.
Yeah, we did.
Had a couple of inconsistent performances. Well, 5-0 1. Against one of the better teams in the OPL, you know, certainly King and Destiny up there with Raze and Ayla at the moment in my eyes. Pretty impressive game for the rookie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I feel like the consistency is going to help a lot, and like, I don't know how true that statement is without knowing the inner workings, right? But like, from what we've seen, Totoro being with the team now, like Corporal had his stint, and now this has been the Totoro lineup for a good while. And Katsuri seems to be ramping, you know, just from like objective evidence from what we've seen.
Yeah.
So I want to see this for the rest of the split because it is clearly working out. Second Ocean Dragon here now for the Direwolves, and it will be another one actually. So we're going to have 3 Ocean Dragons this game, and yeah, Direwolves going to be pretty happy with that constant regen. And Mammoth, yeah, currently on the back foot. This is not an alien situation though for Mammoth, I will say. But we'll have to see if the Direwolves are able to overcome that final hurdle, which is really finishing off Mammoth.
Well, whilst it's not an alien situation in terms of scoreline, it kind of is in terms of scaling. Because normally when you're talking about the Direwolves, Triple is playing like an Azir or a Corki or a Vladimir.
Yeah.
And, you know, the clock is against you. He's going to get 3 items. He's going to win you the game. This time he's playing a Kai'Sa. And don't get me wrong, Kai'Sa scale as well, but no way near like what we're talking about with those control mages. He's going to be diving in. He's 500 range. He has a couple of cool tools like the invisibility, like the passive shred. Like, don't get me wrong, Kai'Sa's still a fantastic champion in our own right, but this is not a one-hit 3 people on the enemy team and take over a game champion. So I think that Mammoth are going to have to play this one a little bit differently.
Yeah. Don't have that same timer for sure.
And
upwards here.
A little bit poetically, all 3 of Triple, King, and Destiny are former Direwolves players. And it was the Direwolves last split. They got a big upset over Mammoth and kind of really ruined their season. So certainly the club loves to be able to stick it to a couple of the former Direwolves.
Yeah, for sure. Just a bit of a scrap over vision currently, as Lucian is still able to just soak up these mid lane waves. Looking towards Gangplank as well. It's kind of just been invisible in a lot of these. It's just essentially been in the side lane up until now, joining the team without teleport. He has picked up his Executioner's Calling, in fact, along with that pickaxe. Meanwhile, Totoro caught out in the jungle, has to burn the Unbreakable Will. And we'll just back off with the rest of his team.
Yeah, a bit sloppy from Totoro there, because you can see Topoon's on the bottom side of the map, just collecting waves and that was a full rotation over from Biopanther to help them control vision. So him walking in solo, like probably 2 or 3 seconds too early, costs him all of his health pool, costs him, you know, the ultimate, which is pretty much his entire engage tool as well, because otherwise you just get blown up instantly.
Yep.
So certainly not ideal for Totoro.
Yeah, not ideal. There was Honey Fruit in the river, so now he's just full HP again. But yeah, doesn't have the ultimate, which if they want to scrap, and basically means he's a pure glass cannon in this fight, which is not fun as an Alistair. I'll be honest.
And I can't believe, like, I'm just going to point it out, Raze is 40 CS up. He died in the first 2 ganks of the game, I'm pretty sure, right? And now, all of a sudden, he's 700 gold up, and we were talking about how Babip was accelerated on this Sejuani. Well, he's down 2 levels, down 800 gold.
Yeah, he's been farming for Storm, just silently in the jungle.
Been farming everyone's jungle, apparently. Been farming Babip's and his own.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen him go to lanes and taxed either. So yeah, I think it is just jungle difference coming out here. And he's in a great position, you know, like 2 items, has stopwatch as well for the fight. In a pretty good situation.
Looks like he's going Zonya. See whether he goes a full one-shot build and picks himself up something like a Lich Bane.
Sure.
Because Silas, like, he's a very scary man with any of the ultimates on the side of Mammoth, to be honest. You would say maybe with the exception of King's. Everyone else's ultimate is a very good ultimate.
Oh, and speaking of King, walks down the catwalk and finds 4 members of the Direwolves.
And they thought they swept out mid lane, and he was walking over a pink ward, so he was sure he was safe, but that is definitely not the case. You see that there was a ward in the middle of mid lane there for Direwolves, placed earlier out of sight. It's going to have to be a contest. Baron is up and falling very rapidly.
Oh yeah, down to half HP already as Destiny and Topoon are stepping up. Got Babip over the wall, potentially looking for a steal type situation. Totoro will knock him away, looking towards the blast cone, kicks him out of there into the red pit. And Totoro by himself completely stops any contest from Mammoth, and the rest of Dial will walk away with Baron.
What a great play from Totoro there. Really well timed. At 2,000 they hold it. Then he gets rid of the jungler, make sure he's completely gone. And I think Direwolf should just let this one drop, take the tempo win. Looks like they want to contest it. This will be a dive.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go for this fight. Babip starts it, and they'll just instantly take down Get Back. Not a fight really the Direwolves had to go for. Ray steps forward, but he's also just going to get chunked out here by Triple. Katsuri jumps in, now dashes away as Raze re-engages, but now this is Lucian's time to potentially clean up. King stepping forward onto Katsuri, flashes away. Biopower comes into the fight. This is a big gangplank, but can he clean up these low health targets? Raze gets one as he falls. Babip, he's so low. Biopanther, can he clean up these kills? Gets the double. Moves on to the last 2, and he will finally kill him. And that was an absolute mess there from the Direwolves.
Certainly was. I think it's a 4 for 3 in the end, with Mammoth coming out slightly ahead. But that is such a back and forward fight. I don't know why Direwolves really took it, though, because now all their Baron buffs are gone, apart from Katsuri. Everyone else is being cleaned out. That was just a back and forward affair. I think they came out ahead in gold still. You know, they're up about 3,000.
Sure.
Will be able to grab themselves the Drake, but I think a bit of a win there for Mammoth to get rid of the pressure on the map that was going to be those Baron buffs barreling down the lane.
Absolutely, because theoretically that's a reset into always being pushed and then knocking on the doors of the inner towers. Instantly go for that fight, get 4 Barons off the board. Totoro died in that previous one, and yeah, pulled the trigger.
Yeah, and this is such a bad play from Direwolves, just because they had sent Bio top lane. So they're defending this 4v3, and they know it's 4v3. You see Triple go forward, trying to get some damage out here. However, will get cleaned up by Raze. Really nice chains over the wall. Then the stopwatch was beautiful. This means that he gets a second rotation of spells, walks sideways out of the arrows. The showing up of Biopanther here as well, just for an additional pressure. And that's what I'm talking about right there. You know, Raze lands the chain, able to pick up another kill onto King. That means Biopanther, you know, he grabs himself an additional kill on the back end. This could have very easily been like 2 for 4 in Mammoth's favor, but just little mechanical plays of the Direwolves really shining through there to make sure it's equalized, but not necessarily the fight that you would want to see. You know, played it well mechanically in a 4v3, but maybe shouldn't have fought the 4v3 in the first place.
Sure. I mean, we've had this conversation a million times, you know, specifically when we're focusing on Tien. It's just like, you know, great outplay, but, you know, maybe you wouldn't be there in the first place. Yeah, exactly. But hey, go for the highlight reel when you can. Triple Ocean Dragons now with still a Baron buff remaining on Katsuri. The ultimate siege setup courtesy of Summoner's Rift. But yeah, Biopump actually splitting in the mid lane has demolished as well. So this is a slow push now onto the inner turret. There's no way you can really step up to clear that cannon minion. So at the very least, this will eventually fall over.
They invested Triple's teleport to try and save it. Just didn't work. So that was a big investment there. Triple also has a needlessly large rod, so this is going to be a death cap picked up for Kai'Sa. Big flank here for Destiny.
Destiny looking for a Totoro. Actually goes for the engage underneath tower. He sees Triple, but he flashes away from this one as Topoon underneath this tower, and that's a big stun coming out. Totoro low. Katsuri essentially out of this fight. Topoon falls, though, in exchange for the support, and somehow Direwolves turn this one around. Get back, unleashing the damage there. Flashes forwards onto the spawn pad, looking for 2 kills. They'll get themselves the inhibitor.
And if he had got one more, that might have been the game. In the end, it will just be the full withdrawal with the base broken in the bottom lane. But what a great play from the Direwolves. They absorbed a 4-man Rakan ultimate there, and we're just able to turn around, stand, and deliver. The item certainly in their favor at this stage of the game. And still a 4,000 gold lead, base broken. Direwolves walk away.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to see that one again, right? Because I saw Destiny go in with the 4-man charm knock-up, and I'm like, there's no way underneath tower you get out of this one live, but clearly not the case.
Yeah, exactly right. You see already ultimate use from King and Triple, but that is what I'm talking about right there. Where was the feather rip back? Because it looked like it should have been well-timed on both sides, but Ray's just one-man wrecking crew. He went in by himself, you know, was able to pick up a kill, and then just walked away.
Yep. And Corki just literally was stood still. You know, he wasn't CC'd, he was just standing still hitting people at the right-hand side because everyone's focused on the Rakan follow-up. And yeah, I mean, the damage adds up. And once again, Direwolves on the offensive, Baron's worn off, but it doesn't matter, they can still take the mid lane tower that was set up by GP. Top lane wave now in place was set up before they went back, so Direwolves should be at the very least able to clean out all of these inner turrets. And with the inhibitor broken, Baron on the horizon in 1 minute from now, Direwolves are poised to take this game.
Triple could be in some trouble here. Flank was coming through from Totoro, so we'll have to back away. Last outer turret gone down. That means it's a 5,000 gold lead clean. I mean, as you mentioned, you know, that bottom lane wave, they push it out at kind of an inopportune time because it's going to stack up double super creeps for pretty much perfectly the Baron spawn timer. Topoon going to have to go down there and clear that one out early. And you feel like, I keep saying it, as soon as base is broken, there's only one team fight left in the game. If you lose it, it's over. Mammoth now, I don't know whether they even have scaling on their side. Back is very much against the wall.
Yeah, this is a very different situation to game 1 of the day. You know, Chiefs Avant, you know, when you see them bearing down in the base, but this is not like a potential team fight in return into win here from Mammoth. This is win a fight, then hopefully get a Baron, and then do that again another 2 times to get second Baron, right? And then you have another game turnaround. But they're just going to open up into the mid lane. King is straight up dead. Babip has to go for this engage, but Destiny is out of the fight. Get back down, and Babip doing a lot of work. Triple in the backside, kind of undoing the damage, but Raves shut him down. And that's 3 kills there. 2 for 1, favor of Direwolves.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Topoon uses the teleport late. Cannot get to the play inside. You can see Totoro trying to stop them from being able to get back into this base. Should be broken in a second spot pulse with Baron up and available now. This should be another Baron for the
Destiny
Wolfpack.
and Topoon, we'll see what they can do here on the defense. Basically nothing. Doesn't want to go for this one. Doesn't have flash nor ultimate, and Topoon's not going to engage by himself. Totoro actually preventing the recall here from Babip. 2/3 HP, and with Baron on the board, will not be able to get full health and even contest this Baron. This is a huge deal.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if they take down Babip, that just means Baron is gone for free, and you have a huge death time. And you see how much they've staggered this. Babip trying to just juke to the best of his ability, but he's going to fall down.
Yeah, he's stunned in place, gets him with the trample stun, and now finished off by the rest of the Direwolves. Still, the rest of Mammoth stepping up, but without the smite, this is probably not going to happen, and Direwolves find themselves their second Baron.
Yeah, they're going to get second Baron. It's going to be available on all 5 members this time. And whilst there's been little mistakes, the mechanical play has been there for the Direwolves today. Catching out King multiple times in these team fights. Being able to blow him up. It's had a bit of a shocker, to be honest.
Yep.
And this is the Wolfpack now. 7,000 gold up. Looking to close out the game.
You know, we talked about trump cards, and, you know, Curtis was talking about that as well in the interview, and it feels like Direwolves have found it today. We've been looking at Race, and, you know, he's knows the time to shine when we are looking at him. And this is a great showing from the Direwolves, you know. Again, looking at the playoff race, looking at the teams around them and how this weekend has gone. 0 upsets until potentially now. We know we're on the cusp, and we're not quite ready to call it, but, I mean, when you have an advantage this large, 7,000 gold, you have Baron pushing in, second Baron at that, double inhibitors down, it's all but done as they open up. Raze says, I am the better Sejuani, throws out the ultimate onto Babip, won't be the kill, but with double supers coming in, Baron buff as well, King essentially half health there as well.
Yeah, King looks at them and goes to half health at the moment. Destiny on a huge flank being corralled away from Raze.
Razor's found him though, and he's able to prevent the engage, get back under attack, goes into the Zhonya's. Babip still being that front line for the team. Totoro doing the same, not quite broken either team yet, but Mammoth's health bars are starting to drop, and a Biopanther is able to follow through, moves onto the towers. 2 kills there for the Direwolves as they are looking to close out the game. Topun stepping forwards, they have the regen from the fountain. Is it enough though to wipe out the rest of the Direwolves? They're slowly gaining ground here. Mammoth turning onto Biopanther, moves towards the next hit, but Raze, look at that damage, and they'll sweep the rest of the game. Direwolves pull off the upset and pull ahead in the playoff race.
What a game for the Direwolves. They needed to win this one, and they came out swinging from literally minute 1. Katsuri with another terrific performance, but as always with the Direwolves, you have to look at their jungler, you have to look at Raze. A terrific late game performance on this Sylas, giving him the most dangerous jungler on the patch, was always going to be risky, and he really made Mammoth pay.
Oh yeah, 100%. What a performance out from the Direwolves. At the same time, Mammoth trying something a little bit different here didn't work out when we were talking about the importance of this game for both teams, right? You were talking about historical record. Mammoth, probably if they want to win the split, should be shooting for first. And, went the opposite direction here. Direwolves, such an important win, like we said it a million times. I sound like a broken record, but like the only real upset we've had over the top 3 teams this weekend, like such a big deal.
And to my understanding, after this weekend, Avant have played Legacy and Gravitas. Order will have played Legacy and Gravitas, and I think Gravitas has played Legacy as well.
Yes.
So it's only Direwolves left to play, those bottom teams. Obviously have taken out Order already. So they are in a prime position to be able to clean up that fourth spot, like pretty convincingly now. It's going to take some major upsets from either Avant Gaming, Gravitas, or Order to be able to now try and contest the Wolfpack there. So they're going to at least be eyeing side selection for the first best of 5, if not more than that. And to take down Mammoth, 1 week outside of Gauntlet now, it's got to be also the confidence boost that, this could be a deep Gauntlet run. This could be the team that really shakes up the top of the standings, because Mammoth look like they're going to finish second.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just interesting, right? Because Mammoth, this has been now basically like 3 losses in a row, or like, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Yeah,
definitely on a slide. And even like, don't want to throw stones because I still think Mammoth are a good team, but they have looked worse in the last couple of weeks, and they certainly did during the middle part of the season when they were on a tear.
Yep. Great timing for the Direwolves, though, picking up that win for now. We are going to send it over to the desk with the interview.
Are you impressed with the crafts?
Yeah, well, this one, the horns look a bit weird, but overall it's pretty nice.
He's dissing your Fury Horn already. We haven't even got to the game. It's actually really solid. I walked in and was surprised. I pointed at it, and Bryce was like, "It's so good!" and yelled it out, and then went, and realized that we're on microphone. Congratulations, Katsuri.
Thank
A
you.
hell of a game. You've been on a bit of a streak.
Yeah, it's alright streak. Yeah, I don't know what to say, honestly.
What? Let's start with this game. How was that one for you guys? Heading into it, what was the game plan? Do you feel like you pulled it off?
Honestly, from yesterday's game, I think the game was ours, but we just didn't know how to close, so we focused, I felt pretty confident actually coming into this game. Like, if we fixed our sloppy errors from yesterday, then we knew we could actually take the game today. So, it was nice.
And what have you been, because as the desk said, and we agree upstairs, that you have been going from strength to strength personally. What have you been concentrating on this split to improve?
So, honestly, as a rookie, I came into the start of the split with I was very nervous, and honestly, I wasn't playing how I would play in scrim. So on stage, I just take it 1 week at a time, playing with confidence, not playing scared to win, just making sure I take the steps to win. I'm not scared to make the big plays or whatever. So
that is actually something that we've spoken about before on the show, about how when rookies come in, they feel like they're not necessarily making the right move going forward when that would be the best case. So it's about sort of getting out of your own head, I suppose.
definitely.
Do you feel like you could step up on the Little Legend making stage,
Um,
or is this harder than League of Legends?
seems harder.
Yeah, probably is.
Seems harder.
Look, we do a very difficult job here. I'm not going to lie. How do you feel as well? Because we speak about it every week. Momentum. You guys are just climbing the gauntlet ladder, really, getting ready for 2 weeks' time. You're also at that point of the pack where every win for you is a bit of a devastating blow for teams like Order and for AV. That must be a good feeling to be able to shut down those teams as you climb towards. You're now in contention with Bombers, Mammoth, Chiefs. Those teams. That's where the Direwolves are now playing.
Yeah, this win today feels great because, if I had lost today, then going into next week, every game would have mattered, and I would have played more nervous on stage. So getting this win today boosts our team's confidence and my confidence going into next week that we can, we're gonna make playoffs. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. Excellent game. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go get some rest. We'll be back right after this.
Thank you.
Mammoth here opens up with the prison. Dodges out of this one. Ray still alive. Gets a charm onto Totoro. He's opening up a lot of distance. Topoon steps forwards, gets that kill, but now caught out in the middle of the team. Direwolves will sweep that one up.
This will be a dive.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go for this fight. Babip starts it, and they'll just instantly take down Get Back. Not a fight really the Direwolves had to go for. Ray steps forward, but he's also just going to get chunked out here by Triple. Katsuri jumps in, now dashes away as Raze re-engages, but now this is Lucian's time to potentially clean up. King stepping forward onto Katsuri, flashes away. Biopower comes into the fight. This is a big gangplank, but can he clean up these low health targets? Raze gets one as he falls. Babip, he's so low. Biopanther, can he clean up these kills? Gets the double, moves on to the last two, and he...
Big flank here for Destiny.
Destiny looking for a Totoro, actually goes for the engage underneath tower. He sees Triple, but he flashes away from this one as Topoon underneath this tower, and that's a big stun coming out. Totoro low. Katsuri essentially out of this fight. Topoon falls, though, in exchange.
A huge flank being corralled away from Raze.
Razor's found him, though, and he's able to prevent the engage. Get back under attack, goes into the Zhonya's. Babip still being that front line for the team. Totoro doing the same. Not quite broken either team yet, but Mammoth's health bars are starting to drop, and a Biopanther is able to follow through. Moves onto the towers. 2 kills there for the Direwolves as they are looking to close out the game. Topoon stepping forward. They have the regen from the fountain. Is it enough, though, to wipe out the rest of the Direwolves? They're slowly gaining ground here. Mammoth turning onto Biopanther. Moves towards the next, but Raze, look at that damage. And they'll sweep the rest of the game. Direwolves pull off the upset and pull ahead in the playoff.
You gave me this when we were just 16 years old. Darling, cop up.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Grab 24 Chicken McNuggets for just $9.95 every day.
Welcome back. Welcome, Pulse.
Oh, hello.
How you
How's
feeling?
it going? Pretty